This lesson is a review on rounding, and to be successful with rounding, you need to know your place values. So we are going to start by filling in this place values chart just to remind us what all the place values are. Let's start in the middle. We have our decimal, and that is a separator of whole numbers and parts. To the left of the decimal is our ones place. Then we have tens, hundreds, and thousands. To the right of our decimal, the first place is the tenths. So the parts are broken down into tenths. 10 tenths makes one whole. Hundredths. And just to note here, there's a TH on the end of each of these. And last but not least, on this chart at least, we have our thousandths. In 7th grade, we're really not going to go much farther than thousandths. So these are the place values. You need to be very familiar with these. Now we're going to go through the steps for successful rounding. So the very first step that we're going to do, this is why it's important to know the place value, is we're going to locate the digit to be rounded. If, for example, the problem states to round to the nearest tenth, you are going to locate that digit directly to the right of the decimal place. If it says to round to the nearest hundredths, you're going to locate the digit 3 places to the right of that decimal place. After we locate that digit, we're going to look at the digit to the right of that. If the digit is 4 or below, we're going to round down. So if I'm just going to use an example here, 4.1287. If I said round to the nearest tenth, we're going to locate the tenth, and then we're going to look at the digit to the right of that. This is 4 or below, it's a 2. So to round down, we're basically just going to take off any digit to the right. So my answer here would be 4.1. If that digit is 5 or above, so let's do another example, 4.1687. Again, rounding to the 10th, we're going to locate that place value and we're going to look at the digit to the right. It is 5 or above, so we are going to round up by taking this 1 to a 2. So my answer here would be 4.2. Okay, let's practice. We are going to round 72.673 to the nearest tenth. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to locate the tenth, which is right here, 1 place to the right of the decimal. And then we are going to look at that number to the right of that, which is a 7. This is the digit that is going to indicate what we do. This is 5 or above, so we are going to round this 6 to a 7, and our answer is going to be 72.7. Round 35.4321 to the nearest hundredth. So the first thing that we're going to do is locate the hundredth place, which is right here, 2 digits to the right of the decimal. And then we're going to look right next door at the digit to the right, which is a 2. 2 is 4 or below, so that means we're going to round down by just taking that part off. Oops. So our answer is 35.43. Okay, some practice here. So I want you to practice rounding 1 through 10 right here, and then come back and check your answers. One thing to note is that whole number is going to mean the ones place. Okay, here are your answers. We did some rounding. One thing that I want to point out is when you're rounding to the 10th, make sure, even if it's a 0, write it down. In 7th grade, a lot of our calculations are going to involve money. And the thing with money is that we always round money to the nearest penny because that's the smallest form of payment that we have. Directions in these problems involving money won't always explicitly say round to the nearest penny or hundredth or cent. It's something that you need to infer based on the fact that you're dealing with money. So we are going to practice rounding each of these monetary values to the nearest cent, which is just the hundredth place. It could be cent, or you could use the word penny. You might see either. So for this example, number 1, it's 3.766. This is because it has the money. We're going to round to the nearest cent. So we're going to look at the digit to the right. It's a 6. It's bigger than 5, so we're going to round up. And this is going to become $3.77. Go ahead and try the rest of them, then come back and check your answers. Here are each of these values rounded to the nearest cent.